Hello and welcome to the challenge task for formula building. We have looked at nesting functions, order, arrays versus single cell, and cell referencing. And so this will just test your knowledge to see where you're at. It is all good if something doesn't quite. We will go through and explain it. Here on the setup, we have the questions that you will read. There are some that require answers there. Other ones that, based off of what you do on these here, will give you if it is correct or not. And then finally, on this side here is the table that we will be using. So if you want to, it says explanation. You can expand this to have different explanations showed. It's up to you if you want that open at the whole time or just at the very end. I'll keep it open since we are going through this together. So in this one here, it is asking which function will be seen as the result based off of the order. And in this case, it would actually be lower. It'll be the leftmost and the last thing to happen. So if you're looking at C2, what would happen is it would first be in proper case, then it would all be changed in uppercase, and then finally lowercase, which is what we see. Now, just as an example here, if you put upper, it'll say upper isn't the right answer. Try again. So lower is the correct one. True or false? Functions that can be arrays can only have spill in the columns or rows. So it's not both. So this is asking, can you have an array that has both columns and rows? So if you picked true, that is actually incorrect. So it is false. While there are some that are programmed to only have spills in the row or the column, like XLOOKUP, there are other ones that can have in both, like filter. That's what we used in the example before. So it would be false. True or false? The function in D4 on the right is an example of a single cell formula. Since the result would be that, it would be true. It pulls data from multiple different ones. However, since it is the one, it would be the single, also known as regular cell formula. In the question on the side, select the drop-down that shows the range as an absolute cell reference. Sorry, just editing this. Hopefully in yours you won't see absolute cell reference. It'll probably be adjusted by the time you get here. So count if, and in this in green. So which one would it be to show absolute? Well, this is just the standard, which is the relative. If you choose one of these, this is mixed, where one of them is, but the other isn't. This will be the one where all the columns and all of the row numbers are locked in with the dollar signs. So now using the formula in table 1, starting at D12 right here, your job is to be able to copy and paste the rest or use the drag down and to the left to be able to finish the table. So you need to go and check and make sure that you are properly formatting the table over here, as well as highlighting there. So to start off, remove the apostrophe, and let's go into this. So L5 will be the continent. And it will be important to know that that's the continent, because then that means that C12 will be the continent. So I'm just going to lock these in. You'll want those to be absolute. So you want them to be completely locked in. Here, you will want to make sure that you have the column C locked in. So I'm just going to go through F4, and there we go. This one is K, which is the department. So sorry for my scrolling. That will be completely locked into absolute. And then finally, we want the row 11 to be locked in. So I push enter. And now you can either copy and just select the whole thing and paste. And there we go. Now, up here, it'll say correct. And how I've done that is just here, if it is a match with the formula text to this one, which is the ifs, then it will tell you that it is correct. So you can kind of see here a little bit of the words, which, just in case you were wondering. So, if you had something like this changed, it will be incorrect said. Now, this one is technically correct here, but if you didn't highlight one of these, like this one wasn't completely done, and you go through, there's errors, and here it'll say incorrect. So I'm just going to undo until, there we go. Just letting you know how that is, because again, if you have something like this and then you removed one of those, it'll say it's incorrect, although still technically it has the correct amount of total staff. So next is table 2. And this question is asking, oops, I want to make, there we go. Using the formula in table 2, D23, adjust it to copy and paste to the rest of the table. So the range. So essentially the same thing. Now in this one, it's looking at the year started and then the continents. So we want to see, based off of all of these, when did these employees start? So I'm going to remove the apostrophe. Since this is the year started, I'm going to go ahead and F4. We know that this should also be F4, and then continent F4. So now it just comes to these. So the first criterion is D21. Looking down here, D21 is this year, and so that should be absolute reference, meaning it's not going to move at all. C, we want to make sure that it stays on that column, which is C. So I'm just going to put the $sign there. And then D, which is the department, we want to make sure that that is absolute reference. So we put a $sign there to lock it into 22. So you can have the references go down there, move it over here, and if that was exactly, then this should mark correct. Now you can also see, if you highlight them, the sum is going to be different, because when you move to different years, you'll see the different staff. So, you know, no one was in 2016, 17 was there, and so on. So this might just be a helpful thing to see, like, when someone was hired. But again, you know, I think these ones are a little bit more actually useful. But again, using this table in this sense is something that you could have a lot of applications within a business. So there we go. Those are the 6 questions. Hopefully you understood these. If there were some that you didn't quite get or just doesn't quite make sense, I would encourage you to look back at the different lessons that we did, whether it's in just the basics in the ordering, kind of the first few, or if it's on the cell referencing, which is a very big part of what we're doing here. So that's all for this section too. Thank you so much for watching here, and we'll see you in the next section. Bye now.